everybody, and welcome to the very first episode of the Odd Topic podcast. It's a show where myself, Luke Hawkins, and my co-host, Brett Beckerman,
What's up?
are going to be discussing, topics that we generally find quite odd.
Yeah, so every episode we will bring forward a new topic that we found odd or interesting, and we will chat about a few stories that we know and bring up a few facts. Every podcast will be about a specific topic, and it'll kind of be in the title, so if it interests you, give it a listen. So yeah, let's get started.
So, moving into today's topic, we're going to tackle unexplained mysteries. Ooh. Cue wolf sound in the background. This topic came about because of the show on Netflix, I think called Unexplained Mysteries. Or was it Unsolved Mysteries?
I think it's Unsolved Mysteries because they're kind of going off of the original show, which was shot like back in the day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I didn't even know there was an original show.
Yeah. This is a reboot of the original one.
Oh, exciting. So with that all said, let's just jump right into it with today's topics. Brett, do you want to take it away first?
Don't mind if I do. So,
what you got for us today, boy?
Just you wait. So the whole aura of Unsolved Mysteries is like specifically the Netflix kind of era, as well as the previous one. They focused around a lot of missing persons versus unexplained deaths and all that kind of stuff.
Everyone loves a good missing person story.
Well, no one really loves it, but they love to hear about it.
Well,
depends who you are. So that was my first kind of entry point of looking into a few things. And I remember back in the day, I heard about the Somerton Man. I don't know if you've heard of this.
Vaguely on prowling Reddit, but I don't know too much about it.
Yeah. So what makes the Somerton Man kind of like as interesting as it is because it was at that awkward time in history where there wasn't enough technology to kind of prove things, but there was like enough speculation to kind of, I don't know, be weirded out by it.
Yeah.
So the basic story is back 1st of December, 1948, Australia.
That's a long ass time ago.
Dude, that was a long time ago. These two jockeys are busy riding on the beach and they come across this car lying down, head up against the back wall, and they think, what's this drunk dude doing
back
here?
wall, like the ridge of the beach, or
yeah, basically like where the road is, they kind of had this wall that to the beach. Yeah, so they think just some drunk dude passed out.
As
they
one does.
Carry on up the beach, turn around, and hours later, they see him still there. So they go and kind of check in a little bit more, and they discover dude's dead. Dude's been dead for not that long, actually, since the morning. So they go and obviously call in the cops and all that, and the guy gets taken in.
Is this the one with the R thing?
No, but that is very interesting. What R thing?
Okay, that's a topic for another episode.
Okay, so they take the guy in, and the coroner cannot come up with a reason for death. Basically, they just say that he just died, natural causes.
No evidence of like a heart attack or anything.
Nothing. The guy is like immaculately dressed. Missing his shoes, oddly enough, but hair to the side, clearly
Is he wet?
shaven.
Did he go for like a little swim?
Nothing, dude.
Jeez.
Literally, like the guy is as if he walked to the beach, sat down, and just died. So yeah, they kind of put it down to natural causes and walked on.
Natural causes, bro. Natural causes of nothing.
Of nothing. So that isn't where the weird side starts. Basically, they now kind of delve a little bit deeper, and they find a little piece of paper stashed into his little coin slot of his. I think some of those like pants have like the weird coin,
which no one ever uses.
No, not really, but he used it. Or no one knows.
On the one he's freaking dead, bro.
So they found this little piece of paper, and on it is written Tamam should. Okay. So Tamam should is from what they kind of then found afterwards from a book called Rubaiyat of Amar Khayyam.
Was this guy like a Caucasian man?
Yeah, white dude. They thought he was Australian, just normal kind of guy.
So why would he have some sort of Middle Eastern sounding?
Nobody knows.
That's quite odd.
So that was the kind of the crazy part about it. Why would he have some weird name? That word translates to finished or the end.
Well, he met the end.
So that was crazy, and no one knew where it came from. Now, they only figured out about that book because some guy came into the police station with this book because he heard about this missing guy and he heard about the piece of paper. And his car was parked by that beach with the window open. And when he got back to his car, he found this book inside the car. The book had the piece of torn out paper fit perfectly into the book.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. They then kind of, I don't know, you go through the book, check it out, and they found a cryptic kind of message. So something like a little encryption type thing, as well as a girl's phone number.
Ooh la la.
They got hold of the...
This guy, interrupt you there. This guy that found the book, isn't that a bit suspicious? He's like, well, did the police release that there was a weird note?
Yeah, I think so. I think they released kind of because they were trying to find out who this guy was. They still don't know who this guy is.
So this guy found this book in his car. Was like, I'm going to take this to the police. Instead of like, I don't know, must have read through it and found the missing.
I think they released something in the paper and basically kind of said.
Must have. I mean, who knows?
Yeah. So basically, this guy takes it in. I actually don't know the exact story of that one. And the number they phoned the lady, her name, who I've just gone blank with. I think it's Jane Thompson or something like that.
Broad.
Yeah, Jessie Thompson, that broad actually. Oh. So they get hold of Jessie Thompson. She lives near the beach.
Ooh.
Yeah. When she hears of the man and she sees the man's face, she starts to panic, but says she's never seen the man before.
See, that's interesting because in the beginning I would be like, well, hundreds of people live at the beach. Who cares? But her reaction is a bit suspect.
Exactly. Her reaction is suspect. The book being near the beach, her living near the beach is all suspect. And the fact that they don't know who the man is is even more suspect.
Although if you saw a dead body, would you panic too? I don't.
Well, that's what people say. They say, well, you've just seen a dead body. Would you panic?
Yeah, I'm sure they would have noticed something odd as opposed to typical, I've just seen a dead body. Panic.
Exactly. So that's kind of where that ended for a little while. This Jessie Thompson lady, she had a kid. She was a single mom and never spoke of the father of the kid. Father did not exist / wasn't around. And years on, they suspect that this man was her lover.
Ooh.
That is one of the theories. Let's put it that way.
That's quite a broad stroke, though, as well. But I suppose in this case, it sounds like everyone's grasping at straws because no one knows freaking anything.
Yeah, but the biggest thing was the kid of this lady had very, very hectic markings that resembled this guy.
Oh, damn. Some of the features.
Yeah. So that was kind of...
they do a DNA test, I suppose, back then. Maybe they didn't have. Yeah.
They have since issued an order, and I think this is fairly recent, to exhume the body and do DNA tests because this Thompson chick's, I think, daughter wants answers because she's like, I want to know who my daddy is. Yeah. Is it this guy?
Yeah.
Which is pretty hectic.
But also, how does this explain the weird verse coming out of that book?
So assuming one of the theories is that he was a Russian spy.
Okay.
Or that he was an American spy.
So was this book a Russian book or Middle Eastern or?
It was what is the language? I can't remember the exact language of it. Taman Shud, yeah, the rabbi of Omar Khayyam. It wasn't Russian, but apparently this book was held by a lot of the Russian army, a standard issue, to have this book with you.
Okay.
So that's why they assumed he was Russian. But he had a lot of American items on him. And I say American because I think he had bubblegum. It was like whatever type. It was a brand. It was an American brand, which they don't sell in Australia. So they thought, okay, Russian spy in America. Was he then kind of either like exiled or murdered? What's the story?
Yeah, it almost sounds like there's some sort of behind the scenes undercover thing going on here. And maybe this woman who like shouldn't have been with this guy for some reason and is trying to hide it. And
well, the daughter says that every now and then her mom used to randomly speak in Russian.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Now that is interesting.
See, everything kind of leads to this Russian aspect.
What if they were like, what are they called when you like kind of brainwashed until a certain word is said? Sleeper soldier, I think it's called. Maybe there was some kind of sleeper soldier family or Chekwas or something.
Yeah. Quite something. So there's so much mystery kind of like surrounding him and this Jessie Thompson that no one actually knows what the true story is. And that's why that DNA evidence, which I don't know if they've actually got it right yet to exhume him, but...
Also, you wonder after, you said it was 1948.
1948.
After, what's that now? That's like 60 years?
Something like that.
70 years?
Yeah.
70 years, yeah. That's like... How much DNA evidence is left?
Well, I'm pretty sure enough. I mean, they can do some pretty cool things with DNA nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, that being said, they found DNA for dinosaurs and shit. So what am I talking about? I'm not a scientist.
But yeah, the daughter, Kay Thompson, was actually interviewed on that Australian show. I think it's called 60 Minutes. It's basically like they kind of delve into one topic. And
but it's not an odd topic.
Yeah, it's not an odd topic. Actually,
we're original. Okay.
She's not too big of a fan of her mom from the sounds of it, because she kind of like ratted her mom out quite hectically with that whole Russian thing. But yeah, so they are that whole like mystery with this guy is kind of like put in two, because what about that kind of the code?
Yeah.
Like, a few people have looked into it. They kind of have an assumption that it could have been like something shorthand. So like, because all the code is a whole bunch of capital letters, numbers, and all that. It makes absolutely no sense, but it's clearly a code. So a few people have tried to crack it. A few people have failed. One YouTuber kind of claimed that he cracked it, but I think he was just grasping at straws. Yeah. I think.
In what world would a YouTuber crack it?
Hey. Don't doubt. Is
that us now? Are we going to be YouTubers now?
Don't doubt us, please.
So I brought up a picture here of this Tamam Shud and this code. Yeah, this code makes no sense.
Nothing
it's just
whatsoever.
some letters in a random order.
Yeah.
MLIAB 0 or O. Mlaibo I don't know. It's a mystery.
People have put it through like Google Translate and all that to try and get something. They've swapped letters around, but they're assuming that it is shorthand. Yeah. But everyone who's trying to like get information out of this code, they're all kind of pitting against each other. So if like two people are busy, I think there are two currently trying to outdo each other, and every time one comes up with a theory, the other kind of burns it straight away.
The mystery that I've got today also actually has a revelation that came out this month.
What?
So there's still some new info.
Dude, no way.
Well, new info / someone tried to basically put a pin in the case, which I'm not happy about.
How dare he?
And ruin my suspense with your facts.
Okay, so give us the lowdown on your mystery today.
All right, so today I'm going to be talking about a fairly common-ish one. Maybe some of you guys have heard, maybe some of you haven't, but I've got a couple of details you might not have heard before. This is the Dyatlov Pass Incident.
Ooh, the radiated Yeti.
The radiated Yeti, exactly. So it's, as I said, a lot of people might have covered this one, but it's one of my favorites purely because it is so mysterious. There's so many different avenues. No one solution answers the questions of all the other issues in the topic. You'll see what I'm saying. So let's get into it first of all. Is essentially a bunch of hackers. There were 9 of them.
Okay.
One of them was actually called something Dyatlov, hence the name Dyatlov Pass.
Oh, is it actually named after
after
hackers?
him. The pass itself isn't called Dyatlov Pass.
Oh, wow.
The place itself is in the Ural Mountains in Russia, or Ural. I don't know how to say it. Ural sounds a bit...
Add a bit of Russian accent to that one.
Yeah. Ural Mountains, Mother Russia. Don't ever make me speak Russian again. So these guys were really experienced hackers. This is back in 1959. Dyatlov was the lead hacker of the group, and allegedly these people basically climbed up the mountain and then pitched a tent somewhere, and something bad happened. No one really knows what. And the next day, well, I suppose they were probably found quite a long time afterwards, but essentially their tent was destroyed and their bodies were strewn all over the place with zero explanation as to how the hell this happened.
Damn.
So yeah, it's a bit of a strange one. There's a good few theories as to what happened, obviously, with a couple of lead ones being, UFOs and the typical nonsense.
You got to bring aliens into this.
Of course, you had to bring aliens into it. I mean, although there's a bit of an argument to be had for the alien theory as well. So let's not write it off too quickly. But yeah, so these guys, when they were found, it looked as though the tent was all ripped up. Importantly, from the inside, it was ripped up.
How do you know that a tent is ripped from the inside?
Who knows, especially after all the days and the weather. And flaps might have blown inside. I suppose they can see like the way the fibers are maybe cut.
Yeah, that's also true.
I mean,
it's sort of like a window where you can kind of see shards on the outside.
Exactly, where the glass exploded, Unless they have some fancy glass tent in the 1950s. I don't know.
Yeah, who would know?
But yeah, and they were also all wearing very little clothing. if any. They were naked AF.
Yo,
man.
what? Like,
the other one really naked. They had like maybe undies on and stuff, which is a bit odd because the temperatures there are freezing. It is a snowy Russian mountain.
I don't think they get it like minus 30 degrees.
It is. I mean, I can't even tell you because I'm not a scientist, but but yeah, it's cold AF. I think even if you were sleeping inside the tent, you wouldn't be wearing that little clothing.
No, not at all.
Unless they were doing that weird thing where you huddle up bodies and I don't know.
How many tents were there?
So but it sounds of it just the one.
They were definitely huddling together.
So. Well, look, everything I've read just mentions a tent, not tents.
Oh, fair enough.
So, I mean, who knows? But yeah, so analysis of the corpses kind of made it seem like, okay, it looks like about, I think, 6 or 7 of them were died of hypothermia, which is expected, wearing very little clothing.
Fair enough, yeah.
And then, but the rest had a lot of physical injuries, which are quite unique. So the one had like a fractured skull, maybe he fell, who knows? The one had a broken chest, and they reportedly, the amount of force required to break the dude's chest was about the equivalent of like a car crash.
Like literally like sternum broken.
Proper sternum broken.
Damn.
And there was no external injuries. It was all internal, as if there was like a large amount of pressure had maybe crushed this dude. And then the other really weird stuff is that there were 2 other people. The one, I think it was a lady, was missing both of her eyeballs.
What?
And the other guy or girl, I'm not sure, was missing his or her tongue. Very odd.
Yeah. Were they all kind of found together or?
No. So they were sort of, it looked as if the majority kind of tried to head towards the foresty area nearby.
Okay.
But some 1 or 2 had veered into other directions. I think the one missing the eyes and the tongue was found near a lake.
Because what's quite interesting about these like group missing things is none of them ever kind of like huddle together. It's always like something happens, they try to escape.
Every man for themselves.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, it's kind of strange that every person who went in a different direction had something different happen to them.
Yeah, it is weird.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's not even the creepiest part. I mean, this is still coming. Me too. Couldn't resist. Apologies. Okay, so of course, conspiracy theorists worldwide, as the internet does, there's so many theories as to what happened. One of the most prevalent ones, which everyone loves to jump in on, motherfucking Yetis. Everyone loves a good Yeti story. Could this have been an animal attack from a crazy strong animal that just pummeled these dudes, freaked everyone out, made them escape their tent? I wouldn't even say plausible in my opinion, because the tent was ripped from that inside out. Surely if there was a Yeti to try and break in.
Yeah.
Unless they heard something outside and they freaked out and they ran.
Yeah. Possibly the Yeti was attacking one of the other people.
Could have been. Maybe someone out for like a piss or something.
You know how the zippers are in tents? You just cut the hell out of that thing.
So, yeah, I mean, it's a bit strange. It's an interesting theory. But why Yeti as opposed to like a bear?
Exactly, yeah.
Unless maybe there's no bears in the area.
Dude, Russia, bears, I mean, come now.
Yeah.
It's like
a Russian
the
bear.
Russian bear.
There's also apparently like a indigenous tribe or indigenous peoples in the area known as the Mansi people, Mansi.
Okay.
That could have attacked them in their sleep as well. But
that would explain the tongue cut out in the eyes.
It would, but maybe they did something
sacrificial
weird.
type thing.
But what they say there is that a person doesn't have the strength to crush that one guy's sternum like it was crushed, you know? I mean, who knows? People can just fall in funny ways, you know? I don't know if I buy that one, but...
Nah, I don't buy that one either.
But anyway, so that's the theory. And... again, UFOs, another crazy conspiracy theory. I'm putting out all the sort of implausible ones first. Let's get these over and done with. UFOs, of course. People want to tack UFOs onto anything and everything.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
What is notable here, though, is, I mean, UFO or not, one of the bodies... Okay, there's reports that it was a couple of them, but the official statement that just came out, which I'll get into, only says one of them, had insanely high levels of radiation.
So, okay, because when I heard about this, I heard about the radioactive Yeti.
Yeah.
And, I mean, that like sparked my interest. So, where the hell did the radiation come from?
Who the hell knows? From where? In what world? And especially if it's only one of them. Why is there an irradiated motherfucker who, like, I don't know. It's very odd.
But I mean, okay. Was this anywhere near Chernobyl?
No. As far as I know, it's not. And also, I don't think it's the same time frame. What time did Chernobyl happen?
Oh, that is actually a very good story.
Wasn't it 1960 something?
Yeah,
So I think it was
Chernobyl.
before.
But I mean, okay, what I'm trying to say is still a nuclear plant nearby.
Yeah, so they say there could be a sort of covert nuclear plant or military facility on the mountain.
Yeah.
That is one of the theories, which I'll get into as well. But another notable thing about this radiation, apparently, one of the I don't know if they're witnesses because they saw the bodies after the fact, but they said the bodies all had a very orangey tinge to them, a very dark brown orangey tinge.
That's
which is
strange.
kind of consistent with maybe radiation burns.
Yeah, because I mean, if you think about frostbite, you kind of go a little bit more black.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Yeah.
Even though it's apparently a burning sensation, frostbite, I wouldn't know. I've never had it. But
Well, I mean, I have heard before, and that kind of comes into the whole undressing. Is there's a thing called a paradoxical undressing. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's the sensation of your body burning under freezing temperatures that makes you freak out
feel
and
hot.
undress.
Yes, yeah.
That is what I would think.
Which
kind
could
of,
also go into the
yeah.
hypothermia thing, which most of
Exactly.
them got. So that's possible. And also, I've also heard that snow is quite reflective of light,
Yeah.
like sunlight and stuff. So you can actually get quite a bad sunburn
Snowburn.
just by being on snow.
Yeah.
This, by the way, this is foreign to us because here in South Africa we don't get snow.
No.
Or not at least
Not
not
from
on the
where we
coast.
are, yeah.
But yeah, so that was a bit strange. And then one of our favorite theories, which we kind of touched on now, is about the secret military base or secret nuclear base or something. So apparently, these guys were keeping diaries on their travels, of which were obviously found after the fact, and they kind of helped them place their route and track their route. So these guys apparently missed their one stop, their one target, and traveled too high on a different path. So they were not where they were supposed to be.
Yeah.
So they then allegedly backtracked. But the leader, I presume Dyatlov, I think it was him, he said, well, look, we don't want to go back down because now we're losing altitude and we have to climb all the way back up again. So, and if they went down, they would have gone to like a forest, which is maybe a bit more secure and safe to make a tent.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyways, they just went, I think, basically sideways. I don't know. They basically ended up lost. Whether or not they made it back onto their path, I'm not sure. But they definitely ended up somewhere that they weren't supposed to be. And maybe during the time, I think this was kind of near one of the world wars. My history is really bad. Don't at me, bro. That maybe there's like a Soviet military base there, and these
very
guys
possible.
are maybe the victim of a weapons testing facility. Maybe they were dropping nuclear weapons there. And
Yeah.
the radiation made these guys crazy, or I mean, who knows? Maybe there's just high radiation in the air at the time, and when they were sleeping, they all got, I don't know, radiation poisoning, and they all felt weird and hot and tried
Well, I mean,
to escape.
Soviet
and-
Union, like radiation, it's a thing.
Yeah. Unfortunately, with this theory, though, is no way in hell would Russia ever admit if there was a base.
No,
there or
hell
not.
no. No, definitely not.
So who the hell knows if that has any plausibility or not? All right. So then the other theory, which is perhaps the most obvious and is ultimately the one that kind of won, which we'll get into, is there was an avalanche. And these guys maybe heard the rumble, tried to flee their tents in a hurry, which is why they were naked or partially naked. And they ran off to try and escape this avalanche. But ultimately, the avalanche caught up to them and they all died. What is weird about this one is that, okay, so maybe the avalanche is responsible for the intense physical damage they had. Again, go back to maybe the pressure is what crushed this one guy's chest.
Yeah, but can an avalanche have that much pressure? Oh, I guess that's a lot of force coming down on
Maybe
you.
if he was
eh?
pushed against a tree and the avalanche hits him in the back.
Yeah, true, yeah.
And I think that guy was found near the forest. So that is,
Ooh, so that is
it's
possible.
yeah. And also the hypothermia, obviously. What it doesn't really explain is the missing eyes and tongue.
Well, you say that, but when apparently like mountains things, animals who search for food and they find kind of like dead animals or things, they'll always go for the softest tissue first. So
Yes.
that would make sense why if a person, let's say, is frozen and slightly defrosts, they'll go for the tongue first.
100%.
Yeah, that's my thought.
So me too. And then also, I think in decomp, your softer tissue goes first as well.
Fair enough, yeah.
Though this is really cold, so maybe it wouldn't really decomp as fast.
No, I think you'd be pretty well preserved.
Yeah. So it could be animals. So those boxes are all
Kind of
checked.
ticked, yeah.
However, there was no evidence of an avalanche ever happening.
Oh.
Their tent was not covered by snow. Their footprints leading away from the tent were still visible.
No way.
How does this equate to an avalanche?
Yeah, that's a complete...
Yet this is the theory that the sort of Russian government is going with.
Of course.
It's ridiculous. What is also strange though about the footprints, A, you can see them, which is weird, but B, judging by the length between each stride, these guys weren't running. They weren't leaving in a hurry.
It's not like a casual pace.
They were walking.
Damn.
They were just like going out for a stroll in the nude. So unless like maybe the visibility was really bad, so they had to kind of take it slow.
Yeah, I guess so.
But then if you have that much time, throw on a jacket.
Correct. Plus, I mean, who knows? No one knows if it was daytime, nighttime that these guys decided to go wandering.
Probably not because they were all in the tent.
Fair enough.
Hiked during the day, but still, like, that's weird. And also, these guys, as I said in the beginning, are very experienced hikers. They would know, and by hikers, I mean, they're more than just your casual
let's go
walking
for
up a mountain. These guys are like expedition guys. They've got all the gear, they've got everything. They know, how to avoid an avalanche spot, I'm sure. Like, if we're here and there's an avalanche, we're going to die. They probably know where to set their tent up.
Well, they did get lost.
True, maybe there were other options.
Yeah.
And also, if there was an avalanche, maybe they know how to react. They wouldn't all die. I don't...
Well, they reacted badly walking away. Like, da-da-da-da-da.
So anyway, in July of 2020, an update happened. Basically, they reopened the case about a year ago in 2019.
Why would they reopen the case, though?
I don't know. I think because it was always unsolved and they wanted to finally put a plug in this thing and all the media attention it's
I was
gotten.
about to say with the internet.
So yeah, they closed the case now recently in July. If my very short little Google research hasn't let me down, they closed the case and yes, they said basically it was an avalanche, and they said the low visibility is why the footprints were so close together, and the animal theory was for the eyes and the tongue.
So they copped out, basically.
They copped out because there was no evidence of an avalanche.
Yeah.
And apparently there's been no avalanche recorded in the area for the past who knows how many years.
Well, it doesn't make sense. Like, an avalanche is literally going to cover the place in like a couple feet of snow.
So the avalanche theory is one thing with a lot of open ends. The Yeti theory, maybe not so plausible, but a lot of open ends.
Screw that, I'm on the Yeti theory.
I like the Soviet-based theory. I think that could answer a lot of the possibilities.
Yeah.
It does seem a bit far-fetched. Oh, there just happens to be a nuclear testing facility there on the mountain. Yeah. Who the hell would set one up on the highest peak of a mountain? Who knows? But that's the Dyatlov Pass incident. Unsolved, in my opinion, solved by the Russian government or the Russian police force. They now deem it as solved, and I don't think we'll ever know.
No, I think they're going to pretty much bury this to the grave.
I mean, it's not like we're going to find new evidence.
Not at all.
60 plus years ago.
Yeah.
Where do you sit on the scale of sort of conspiracy theorist versus skeptic? Would you say you believe in like aliens and shit? Is it case specific, or do you just kind of believe all the cool stuff because you can? Or?
That's 100% case specific.
Yeah.
I mean, you can look at something and straight away kind of use logic to figure out what it is. Versus other things we just like, whoa.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think a few conspiracy theorists take things too far.
Yeah. No, definitely.
Like they see like a spot in the sky and all of a sudden it's this grand story where it's just like kind of a bird or a meteor or something like that.
I mean, there's this big trend now on the internet. It's driving me crazy. It's because everyone's got like a security camera now by their front door, whatever it is.
Oh, yeah,
People are picking up, there's a random ghostly figure across the screen. It's just a flipping bug, dude.
Yeah, 100%.
It's just a bug. It's maybe a guy in the distance. It's a spider web slinging over, and it's so obvious. And everything's it's a ghostly figure.
Yeah, no.
It drives me insane.
Those ghostly figures wake me up at night and I get notifications that there's movement outside.
Yeah. As a kid, I was so into like the Loch Ness Monster and Bigfoot and all those really cool ones because they're interesting. I still am into them now, but I don't believe them like I did, which is quite sad, I suppose. But
the theories around them are still interesting.
Very much so. And like with the Loch Ness one, at that age, it was kind of more plausible that there was an undiscovered big sea creature there.
Yeah.
But now with all the sonar and this and that, and I speak like sonar's new technology, but with all the stuff we have, I mean, there's no way that a creature lives there anymore.
No, especially not after this.
There's big sturgeons and stuff, but there's no way there's a giant plesiosaur looking motherfucker lying in the middle of the
man,
nest.
how badly I wish there was.
So cool, dude.
Yeah.
And Yeti, have you heard about the stuff now? So not only is it a giant sort of ape or missing link or big hairy dude who roams the forest, it is now also an interdimensional being.
Oh no, you're joking. Why do they take it there?
That's why you never see them, is because they're always teleporting in and out of existence and they are of a different realm.
See, that's where they kind of conspiracy theorists take it too far.
And like, you start to wonder, do people actually believe this, or are they just doing it it for the laughs?
Like some people believe that the Earth is flat. Like
that's true. That's a good point.
You gotta like kind of sympathize. But I mean, I heard of like one researcher who like his life revolved around like Sasquatch and Yetis, and his theory was they could turn themselves invisible with extreme camouflage.
Yeah,
they could also take their feet off and turn them backwards so that when you're following their footprints, you're walking away from them.
I haven't heard that one. That's
Dude,
crazy.
Yeah. Apparently, what are these other theories? Female Sasquatches can't run because their tits are so long, they would trip over them.
Big ass titties.
This is like a scientist.
Tig old biddies.
Tig old biddies. This is a scientist, man. This is a guy who has like, okay, well, I don't know if he has PhDs, but I mean, if he does, take them away. Like, he wrote books and books and books. And I mean, these are the theories.
Look at any biology. It's not possible. No other creature is remotely possible to turn their feet backwards. It's watch someone in the comments find a creature that does exist and can do that.
Oh man, like I get like turning your feet around like an owl in its neck.
Yeah,
but like to take your feet off and turn them around.
Yeah,
like,
that's ridiculous.
Come on, like no, dude.
Like, oh, they're just wearing boots at that point, you know?
Yeah, exactly. It's like horseshoes, like where they say like they put the horseshoe backwards, so the horse not running away from you. No,
you need to see as well. If you go into YouTube and search those kind of finding Bigfoot videos, and they interviewed these like guys from like the deep south or wherever the hell it is. And I don't know if this is racist, calling them like southerners and deep south and whatever it is, because I'm not from America, so apologies. But they all have that heavy accent, and they do like calls, and they try and call these Yetis, and they go like making weird sounds, dude. And you're like, these guys are on something. That moonshine.
Yeah. That's some good ass moonshine.
There was that whole thing with psychics and mediums. And and how usually these like sort of middle-aged women, obviously looking for purpose in their lives, are going pretending that they can read minds or read your fortune or let you connect with a loved one.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, so there's this one guy, and I really wish I knew his name, because that's the premise of this whole point, really. But anyway, he went around and was disproving all of these psychics, and so far he had caught everyone out, and then he eventually held this like competition where he offered, I think it was $1 million or whatever it was, to any person that could prove with irrefutable evidence that they could read someone's mind or do anything remotely psychic.
Yeah, I remember that. I have heard of that.
And no one came forward.
No.
If you could do something psychic, you would come forward for the money.
Yeah, basically like something along the same lines of that there was this guy who he kind of went forward and I think he put like a monetary prize up for any person who could come forward and prove something to be paranormal. So prove a paranormal or kind of like magic type thing to him would get the money. Apparently like a lot of people went up, and every one of them like he could disprove. Yeah,
I mean it's almost nonsensical. There's also with what you're saying as well, like the one guy that those like Chinese kung fu artists that can do that fighting without actually touching you. And
not like the monk type vibes.
Yeah, basically then they'll actually fight proper like MMA guys. You know? And they'll get their ass handed to them.
Yeah, 100%.
And it's in the same vein. It's no like everyone has these grand claims. There's still not one bit of irrefutable proof for anything, and I hate it. I mean, I don't want to be a skeptic. I love all these conspiracies.
Yeah,
but I mean, there's got to be something. You know, there has to be something. There's got to be proof of something for any of this to be real. Arguably, some of the creatures, they are cryptids. They are unknown monsters until they are discovered.
Exactly, correct. Yeah.
It's actually just this kind of rare form of tiger.
Yeah.
You know, so maybe Bigfoot ultimately will be discovered, and it's just some really, really elusive species of primate.
Well, I mean, bipedal, because that's pretty much. I mean.
Missing link.
I think if Yeti rocks up to be like an animal that walks on all fours, like I think everyone's hearts will be like,
someone saw a gorilla.
Yeah, exactly.
In the area where there aren't any gorillas. The world's a mystery, man. The world's a mystery.
Yeah, and I mean, until things are like ultimately discovered, you got to have some fun with it. You got to kind of like embrace that side of life.
I mean, some would even say that these were some odd topics.
Yeah, I'll go with you on that one. But yeah, that is it for us today. Thanks for listening. We kind of had a blast going through all our kind of knowledge on unexplained mysteries and all that, and we'll hopefully delve a bit deeper into a few other topics in the future and go through a few other things that interest us.
Yeah, I mean, hope you enjoyed it. Give us a little like or whatever to help promote this, to kind of
show your support.
And if the stuff that you didn't like, don't be afraid to leave a bit of like constructive criticism. Don't be mean in the comments, if anyone even comments on this. I'm under the assumption that this is going to go like crazy, but probably get like 2 viewers. But you know what, YouTube viewers, we love you, man.
Thanks, Dad.
Thanks, guys.